events of Iraq, and people who have interest, have questions, and more importantly, would like to understand the situation and reflection of what's taking place now in Iraq over the last decades in relation to the U.S.-Iraqi relationship. As an Iraqi, I'm very much privileged to represent my country here, and we have the honor of trying to bring a narrative, a clear narrative to the American and Iraqis as to what that relationship should be and what the United States can offer Iraq, and more importantly, what Iraqis represent to the United States. A lot of discussion has taken place historically on the media regarding oil, regarding other issues, regarding the importance of Iraq, but people have misread what Iraq has represented to the region and historically. Today, in my humble talk, I'll give a quick introduction, a crash course on Iraq. As you may have realized, you came here without a passport being signed. I hope by the time you leave, you have some knowledge of the country, and our consular section will be happy to stamp your passport when you leave. So in that sense, please feel free. As you have been said, you have, as an organization, opportunity to explore the countries of interest, and Iraq being one is something, an honor for us. More so with the reflection of that relationship, the roller coaster relationship over the last decades, in which those, ironically, who lived or worked or served in Iraq in any way, the military or others, whom we are very grateful for, have never an issue of Iraq fatigueness. They are not tired of Iraq. They appreciate this country, the richness of that, the culture, the history of it, the position, the victimization of the society, so they don't have the Iraq fatigueness. You'll see it in media, you'll see it in those who have taken advantage of trying to explore that project, but from an Iraqi perspective, we have nothing called US fatigueness or America fatigueness. Yet, we hear this situation. With the recent attack, vicious attack by terrorist organizations of ISIS on us, we have seen signs of a revival of US interest in Iraq. As a new ambassador, it's vital for me to provide you with a clear, honest narrative of what that relationship should be. I will not say to you that you can easily go to Iraq now as a tourist, explore the whole end-to-end of Iraq. But at the same time, I will say to you what you hear in CNN or Fox News, and forgive me for those who are popular with Fox News or CNN and others, unfortunately that does not represent the full picture. There is a much bigger story to tell. Let me give you a part of that story today. We as a country, post-2003, have so many elections. In the one recent one, with all the troubles you have heard about Iraq, elections in which 60+% participated in across Iraq. In the most troubled part of Iraq, in Anbar, 40% participated in. So we have somewhat a new democracy. People are eager with democracy. When you read when I read American history, I can see the struggle America went through in cementing democracy over decades or civil wars and others. We are going through that painful process. But because of globalization, we have a crash course of that democracy. We have to understand, because of the area, the United States was in an island with all the massive, with no history to battle with. We have a dictatorship as a history of Saddam Hussein. What took place prior to 2003 is unheard of. This is prior to the social media and others. So people were not aware of the Iron Curtain Saddam did all that. The Iron Curtain is not just in relation to not having access to satellites or phones or other things like that. The Iron Curtain was also on the mindset of the people. That's the key damage for our society, which we have to address. We have to look at the social fabric of that society. Trying to play games with factions of society via whether imprisoning them or executing them, or ethnic cleansing, or preferring some section of society against the other, or let me give you horrific examples, executing some so-called deserters and going to the parents and saying, pay me that $1 for that bullet. And this was the extent of that destruction of that fabric of society. At the same time, people with 2003 saw a new chapter, a new opportunity for us to shackle ourselves, to get out of that shackled society from dictatorship. And we embraced the US for the democracy, introducing certain institutions, forcing us in certain ways, but we are embracing that. Let me give you a simple example. Our constitution stipulates 20% of our parliamentarians have to be ladies and women. And I'm sure you don't have that in your Congress here, but it's not something which, even after the troop withdrawal, nobody is even questioning that number should go back or removed or whatever. So in a way, we introduce what we might call positive discrimination to those who are in need or to those who require the focus of society. Same in other aspects of it as well. One other formula, unfortunately, has not come out to the extent we wanted, which was to say, okay, we need to have a Kurdish leader, a Sunni Arab, such a position, a prime minister of a Shia Arab, and so on. That has not fully worked. We need to work on that. The other aspect of democracy, sometimes not being fully implemented, we need to work on that. But if you ask me, are we on the right track? Yes. Is it painful? Certainly. It's painful in more than one way. We can easily, I can assure you, move back to dictatorship, and then you'll have a much efficient, effective, nobody will question that, and therefore carpet bump any area where there is any dissent, where there is any challenge. But we as a democracy, we have to look at the welfare of our people, have to look at the foresight for our people at a very high cost. The region is not democratic. The country itself is new to democracy. It's extremely rich in minerals, in water, in fertile lands, in history, and so on. That richness needs to be managed properly. We need to have good governance to control that. We need to have the right partners to explore that richness with us. Not having it will create corruptions. And that's another challenge we have on a number of layers. And the corruption is not just financial. It's to do with wrong person being appointed at the wrong place. That's another level of corruption. Here we need good governance. United States, with its ability to produce quality, to understand quality, to promote quality, whether these are on values such as rule of law, justice, democracy, liberalism for those who promote liberalism, or whether it's on to do with actual quality of our products, factories, and so on. That's a partner of choice for us. Our parliament have chosen the United States as a strategic partner. We have not chosen Iran or Turkey or others as our strategic partner, but we have chosen the United States. That's our by choice. It's not something we force on us. More so of that is required of me as a new ambassador, and more so of our states after the troop withdrawal. Here, people will start asking us and say, do we need US forces to be there? We will say, no thank you, we can have that fight. We should have that fight ourselves. We should not depend on others, but we need support. And this support might be in a number of issues. I would try to work with our State Departments and say, these are websites, Facebook sites, Twitter sites, which promote terrorism. Work with me to get rid of that. That's another level of support which you guys may be able to help out. Or another support in relation to promoting, not democracy per se in an American customized way. That will not work, unfortunately. What we need is to promote the idea of exchange between the people. And there, people will not say, well, he's an American official, he's telling me he's promoting his country. No, he's a factory, he's an engineer, he's a teacher, he's whatever, he's doing a secondment, or he's here on internship to understand the country. That's what we need, and this organization and others should promote that. I will stop here because I think there will be a lot of questions, I hope, those whom I'm sure I will look forward to, and all I will ask you is please don't ask me any difficult questions. It's popular in that aspect. It's easy for us as a political analyst and say the problem is X, Y, and Z. But when you delve into the situation, you find it's a bit harder. The issues are systematic, structure. Unfortunately, certain wrong cultures may be promoted. That might be true. But if you ask me, where is resolving the issue? It's by just changing a person, I would say nowhere. The scale of the challenge is bigger than one person. whether it's in the United States and healthcare in the United States, or whether it's to do with a culture of corruption, for example, which we're trying to address, promote the culture of quality. The Prime Minister not speaking English and others did not help him with that projection. The key other aspect of it is in our society, because of the so much internal dynamics of the politics, most of our politicians focus inward, and therefore they will not work very hard to project their image out overseas. That unfortunately may have been the sort of one of the main causes for that image here in the United States. But if you ask me, will the issue be resolved because we've changed personnel? I can assure you we have much bigger challenges as well.